Hello YouTube, my name is Kay and welcome to my first ever voiceover video. Today I'm going to be sharing a neat little trick I use for colouring line art quickly in Procreate. I use this method for my webcomic, and as anyone who's ever tried to make a webcomic will confirm, speed is really essential to what we do, so anything that we can use to speed up our process is really helpful. I'll just quickly mention my webcomic is called Blue Star Rebellion. You can find it on WEBTOON and Tappers. Please go give it a read, I really hope you enjoy it. So for this demonstration, I'm going to be using this panel from what is, at the time of recording, my newest episode. As you can see, the line art is currently black, and while it doesn't look bad that way, giving it some color will definitely help the art pop a little bit more. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into where my line art is, make sure it has alpha lock on it, and I'm actually going to color it a much lighter color. What color you choose is entirely up to you and what's working best with this method for your color palette at the time. But for me right now, it's this kind of muted purpley gray because we're in a cargo bay and most of the palette is kind of a muted purpley gray at the moment. So I'm going to go in and just color it all like that. Now it looks kind of weird at the moment, obviously. It's definitely not the way we want to leave it. Once that's done, I'm going to turn the line art layer off. Take all the lines away. Leave that selected. And then I'm going to go into Actions. I'm going to go to Copy Canvas, get back out of Actions, go back in, and click Paste. And what that does is it gives you a single layer version of everything that was on the screen the moment you clicked Copy Canvas. Once you've got that, we go into Adjustments, Gaussian Blur, and we put a nice blur over the top there. Leave it like that. I'm going to turn my line art back on underneath there and then use the clipping mask to clip that blurry top layer onto the line art. And as you can see, it's very, very pale, but it's starting to pick up some of the colors that were part of that blurred out layer, just very subtly. This is kind of bluish. This is kind of pinky grayish. You get the idea. Once that's done, we're going to go into the different layer modes, and we're going to use 3 different duplicates of this layer. The first one we use is Overlay. That turns everything a rather vivid purple. Once you've got that one, duplicate it. The next one is Multiply. And I typically take this down to about 50 or 60%, depends on exactly how dark you want things. 50 or 60% works reasonably well for most of my images. And the last one, it's still very, very purplish, as you can see, but it's looking a bit more not like nicely colored line art. If you like really vivid colors, you can just stop at this point. But at the moment, my comic is a little bit more muted because, again, it's in a cargo bay. It's not a terribly colorful place. We go into color. And by doing that, the color mode will pick up on the original colors of the blurred layer and give us a slightly more muted palette. And once that's all done, I typically merge them all together. And the last step, again, this one's optional, is if you prefer to have your line art slightly darker around the eyes in order to make them pop out a little bit more, you can add a new layer on top of that, clipping mask it, go to Multiply, and then using a softer brush with a darker color, you can just brush that darker color back over the eyes and over any area that you think the line art needs to be darker for. So for me, this is the, what do you call it, turtleneck? His turtleneck, just around the eyes and a little bit around where his hair and nose are. Make that a little bit darker. And there you have it, folks. That's the entire trick. It's really, really easy to do and it speeds things up so much. This isn't a technique I would use on a full-blown illustration. I'd go in and color all the lines by hand for that. But for a webcomic where you need to be getting out lots of panels and you need to be doing that quickly, it's really, really helpful and it saves so much time. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe if you wanna, and if there are any other questions you have about how I go about making a webcomic using Procreate or other tricks that I use, please leave those questions in the comments below. Bye!